Today we're interviewing the Melbourne Store Manager, Joel Moodie. What made you interested in bullion? You know, why you sell it for a living? What makes you so passionate about it?
The first intro I ever had to markets, gold and silver, through you. Flash forward a few months later, COVID happens. Seeing on the news that they're printing billions and billions of dollars per day. And I was working in a factory on making $20 an hour, and I was just stacking away on that silver. And the amount of money that silver has appreciated since then, it's hard to have a job where it pays you that well.
You know, anybody's allowed to buy silver. The same opportunity is available to everybody. What a time to be alive. Hey everyone, it's Sam from Liberty Bullion. We're here today for our second podcast. Today we're interviewing the Melbourne Store Manager, Joel Moodie. Welcome, Joel.
Oh, welcome, and to everybody watching, how are we doing?
What a time to be alive, some might say.
Indeed, what a crazy time.
Absolutely. So at the time of filming, the spot price of silver is at over $58 per ounce US. So obviously a very exciting time here at Liberty Bullion. Silver up over 90% for the year so far. So just to set the tone and the context here for today's interview. Now today's interview, I really just wanted to get down into the depths of what made you interested in bullion, you know, why you sell it for a living, what makes you so passionate about it, and just kind of, get your read on where we're going in the world and what gold and silver have to do with it all.
Yep, okay. Well, I can take you from how I got into it from the very start, and then from there.
Sounds good. Let's go.
So the first intro I ever had to markets, gold and silver, through you, December 2019, over Christmas, you came to visit up to Queensland, where I'm from and grew up, until moving down to Melbourne for this job.
Yep.
And you showed us all the charts you had going on. I remember a slightly younger Sam coming and showing, "Oh, Joel, look at these charts I got on my computer. Look how much money I made off gold today." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're just making hundreds of dollars sat here just hanging out with the family. Seems pretty cool." But I didn't put too much thought into it after that. And then flash forward a few months later, COVID happens, everything gets shut down, everything I thought I knew about the world turns out to be false and not the case. They start seeing on the news that they're printing billions and billions of dollars per day. They're giving people hundreds of $1,000 a fortnight to stay home and not do anything, not create value. And I'm like, I don't know too much about economics, but this doesn't seem to make much sense. Started looking into it, down the rabbit hole, find out they're just destroying the currency by doing this. Learn about Austrian economics. You can't just create value out of thin air. Starts ruining the entire... Then I loop that back to history that I've been interested in forever. All through school, history was my main subject that I studied and loved. Then tying that to finance and what was going on in the world today. And the same thing's happening over and over again. You see empires devalue their currency. It all falls apart. A new one rises over and over again, back to ancient Rome all the way to today. Same things over and over again.
Yep. Well, that's it. I mean, what's the saying that history doesn't rhyme, but it certainly repeats, or it doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, whatever way around that goes. And it's absolutely true. Humans don't seem to learn from our mistakes. You know, whilst certain humans do take an interest in history and can learn from the mistakes of the past, the majority seem not to be interested or have no interest in learning from the mistakes of the past. So hence why we seem to repeat them on a societal level, but that allows you on an individual level to profit from those mistakes in a way. Like you say, you talk about, you know, currency, inflation, currency creation, billions of dollars, etc., out of thin air. All of this does have consequences. History shows that, absolutely. And you can bet on those consequences and then do extremely well out of it. I mean, you know, buying gold and silver during the highest inflation period we've seen since the 1970s, it's not exactly an Albert Einstein level move. It's something that most people, I feel, once they understand what gold and silver are, can put two and two together and go, an inflation hedge asset combined with a period of massive inflation, yep, that sounds like the right one to buy. And then bang, you know, silver up over 90% for the year, gold up 60% for the year. I mean, that's a level of financial performance that's attainable to anybody. Anybody can come in and buy gold and silver. You don't have to be a hedge fund manager or, to have a finance degree or economics degree. It's something that anybody can come and do, and it's quite simple as well. So it's good to hear that you've come into it. Obviously, I've played a major part in that, like you said, but good to hear that you've gained an interest in it all. I guess my question is, what are your expectations for gold and silver moving forward? Why do you have them in your portfolio, and what do you expect out of them moving forward?
Yeah, well, when I started getting into the markets, learning how it works, I try to think about what fundamentally is happening here, what is causing these things to go up. Where as they're printing this money, they're flooding the system with liquidity, basically, is the essence of what's happening in brass tacks of the situation. And so what gold and silver are doing is they're absorbing that liquidity that's getting printed out of thin air. And as a casino of the general stock market and markets keep going on, if you want to escape out of that system or take profits out of it and you park into dollars, that extra liquidity is devaluing those dollars. So what do you do to get your liquidity out of the casino system? Gold and silver they're a hard asset, existed for thousands of years and keep their value consistently. An old suit hundreds of years ago, you could buy for the same price in gold essentially as you can today.
Yep. It's held its value for thousands and thousands of years, and that means that you can reasonably expect it to hold its value for thousands and thousands of years going into the future. If you bury a bunch of gold today, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren who dig it up, it will be worth a metric shitload. So that's the point with precious metals, is that these things protect you during periods of high inflation. Like you've said about what you see coming down the pipeline at us, it's something where we expect these precious metals to do even better and better moving forward. And that historical perspective on it, where you look back far enough in history and things like this have happened before. For a lot of modern investors, it might seem like what we're seeing today is completely unprecedented, which in a lot of ways it is. Again, if you're looking just at modern history, the last 50 years in the West, this is unprecedented. But you look far enough back and you can see those historical parallels. Again, not repeating, but rhyming. And that's what we're doing here. So I guess the next question I got for you, Joel, is what makes you so passionate about bullion dealing? Why do you enjoy your job so much, or what makes you want to be a bullion dealer?
Well, before working in bullion dealing, I was working in sales in the construction industry, and it was an all right job, but I always felt like there was something missing. I spoke to friends who worked in nursing or anything else, and or teaching. They talk about how it gives them a feeling of doing something to help the world. And I was able to acknowledge what I'm doing, helping buildings go up. It's not helping the world really, like somewhat, but no tangible effect on people's lives improving. But now working here, from the first week of working in bullion dealing, you see the impact it's having on people. They're escaping this failing system, protecting themselves and the people they love. And what more could you want than that?
Yep, and profiting massively from doing so. We look at the impact that we've had on our client base and what we've helped them achieve. We look at our entire client base, and over the 2.5 years that we've been in business, we've helped them generate over $200 million in profit. So not only is it the non-tangibles of withdrawing wealth from a system that is quite dangerous, whether that be removing counterparty risk with the banks, getting out of fiat currency, all of these things that have an intangibility to it in terms of benefit. But if you just look purely at the dollar value of profit that the clients have achieved, massive. So again, when we look at the effect that we have on the world around us, I completely agree. I think about the effect that we have on those around us, and specifically the lives of our clients, and seeing them escape a system that's broken, seeing them achieve financial freedom, seeing them achieve the benefits of what we do with them. That's what makes it all real. The dollars are lovely, and the price of gold going up is great, but it's when you really change the lives of those fellow humans around you that's when you get that deep sense of achievement, and nobody can take that from you. And it's priceless. You can't buy that with, no matter how many dollars you have, you can't buy that.
Yeah. How many jobs can you work where people come and thank you for changing their lives? Like, so many people have come up in the 6 months I've been here and thanked me for that.
Yep.
But any other job, you're going to be so hard pressed to have an impact like that on people.
Absolutely. It's a very unique job, and it's one where I truly believe that we've got the coolest job in the world, that we get to hang around big piles of gold and silver and platinum all day and deal with huge quantities of cash and, have massive transactions roll through, and there's, and of course generate the clients hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. I mean, could you think of a cooler job? I personally couldn't.
Yeah.
So, to me, bullion dealing is incredible, and it's lovely to be able to share that experience with others, to grow the team here at Liberty Bullion. And for those who are in Melbourne, make sure to come into the store. Joel, as we said earlier, is the store manager of the Melbourne store. So whether you're calling in or coming into the store and having a chat, you're going to be dealing with Joel or one of Joel's underlings. So make sure to have a chat with this young man. He's got a lot of knowledge about the precious metals markets. It's an obsession for him, just like it is for myself. And he's done quite well over the years. I mean, tell us about, not in too much detail, of course, but your own personal journey with investing in the precious metals.
Well, when I first started, before I knew anything about it, I was somebody who thought, what do you do with your money? You save up, buy a house. And since then, I've seen so many friends go and do that and get themselves into financial strife now with increasing interest rates over the past 5 years.
Yep.
In the past 5 years, I've just been buying silver and a little bit of gold. And where the positions I'm at compared to them is hardly can be compared. And I was working in a factory on making $20 an hour, and I was just stacking away on that silver. And the amount of money that silver has appreciated since then makes it's hard to have a job where it pays you that well.
Yep. And I think that's one of the benefits of achieving financial freedom, or at least being on the journey to achieving financial freedom, is that for every investor in life, there comes a point, at some point or another, where you make more money from your investments per day or per week or per year, and you're investing and trading, than you do from your day job. And at the beginning, that seems an impossible task. How could you possibly make, $100,000 a year from your investing and trading? But as you kind of level up and you build your capital and you really get more and more assets stacked, I mean, with the price of silver up 90% this year, even if you had only invested $100,000 in silver, you'd still be up $90,000 for the year, which is almost the average Australian salary. So, that moment that you've talked about, where you're making so much money from your investments that it'd be hard to find a job to keep up with that. That's the fun part in achieving financial freedom, and it's something that I truly hope that all of our clients achieve at some point along their life, is to get to that point where working, it's more for passion than out of necessity.
Yeah, and all it took was 5 years on minimum wage most of the time, and just knuckling down and focusing on it, and you can achieve that.
Yep.
So anybody else, just put a few years of work into it, invest in the right assets, and you can get pretty much anything you want.
Absolutely. And that leads into a point that I've heard in the past a fair bit about gold and silver, where people say, it's only for the wealthy. That kind of stuff is only for when you have millions and millions of dollars stacked away already. And I mean, looking at yourself and your story, where you essentially started with nothing and just kept stacking silver and silver and silver, and watching the price of silver triple over the time period that you've been doing it, you can see how you've obviously achieved quite a fair bit there financially, and that same performance is available to anybody out there. Anybody's allowed to buy silver. There's not a certain club where only you're allowed to buy bullion. Our doors are open to everybody, so that same opportunity is available to everybody. You don't have to be a millionaire to be buying bullion. That opportunity is available to you as well. What a story on that one.
Yeah, I started as a uni student working in a factory, and just the opportunity of silver through that has been able to change my life.
Yep. And I wonder if this information were more available, if more people understood what gold and silver are, and what's capable of when you hold them and when you denominate your wealth in them. I wonder whether society would be so hardworking or so pressed to go find work. I wonder whether there'd be a a larger class of people who work for passion rather than necessity. And this is such a rare thing for people to achieve. Most people out there, I feel, work out of necessity to pay the bills, and they've got a family to feed, or they've got rent to pay, etc., etc. So that drives you out of the door, not out of a feeling of warmth and love in your heart, but out of a feeling of necessity. But something that I feel is, I guess, a commonality here at Liberty Bullion is that all of us work in bullion out of love, right? Where we could work in any industry, whether it be construction or, for me, CFD broking or equities analysis. We've got a wide background of different previous jobs that people have had at Liberty Bullion, but we all work in bullion for a reason. And it's because we all truly believe that this is the best investment asset class that there is for the next 5 to 10 years, that this is the place to put your wealth, bar none. All of us are all in on bullion. And obviously all of us have benefited extremely well from that over the last couple of years. But that's the kind of culture that I've built that I really think translates well for the clients. You're dealing with people who are deeply passionate and knowledgeable about the space. And that means that the clients get the best experience from dealing with Liberty Bullion and my staff. Because I can't be everywhere, I can't talk to everyone. I have to have incredible men like Joel who can talk to clients on my behalf and who have the knowledge and expertise and passion in order to do so. So it's a big role, the manager of the Melbourne store, but it's one that Joel is quite capable of filling. So,
thank you very much. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Well, we'll see, hey?
Yeah, exactly. Early days so far. You might need to get Steph to come back.
I don't think Steph will come back from Sydney. I don't think he'd do it if I asked him to.
Yeah.
But no, it's what a time to be alive, some might say. And Joel, quick read on where things are going with gold, silver, and platinum. I mean, what are your thoughts over the medium to long term here over the next year or two?
Well, going into the next year, the US is where the focal point of everything, where everything else trickles down from that.
Mm-hmm.
Going midterm election next year, if Trump loses, if the Republicans lose the House, Trump's a dead duck for the next 2 years. He's not going to let that happen. He's getting new chairman of the Federal Reserve in early next year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make people want to vote for you? You give them lots of money, make the markets pump. Mm-hmm. He's going to inject so much liquidity into the market to pump everything up. People will be, Trump's the greatest president ever. We have to vote for Republicans and let him keep pursuing his agenda. And so that money, where's it all going to go as it goes through the casino and then out the other end into gold and silver, absorbing more and more liquidity over time as people leave the dying dollar system. It just onwards and upwards from here.
Absolutely. Money print to go brrr, and that makes gold and silver just skyrocket onwards and upwards, off to the moon, as some might say. So very exciting times. Obviously, we've had silver break out above that key $50 level, break out of a 45-year cup and handle pattern. Joel and I are both traders, so both of us are extremely excited by such an event. It really does get us juiced up as traders. I mean, what are your thoughts on the breakout of a 45-year cup and handle?
Has there been any cup and handle or any pattern of that long of a period that's ever broken out before? It's like the most bullish signal ever in any market.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never seen a bigger cup and handle pattern in my life. And, across any market that I've ever traded, it's certainly the biggest charting pattern I've seen. And that means it's the biggest opportunity that I've ever seen. It's a generational opportunity, once in a lifetime stuff. And that's why I sell bullion for a living. I truly believe that silver is the best place to be for the next 5 to 10 years, and making sure that my clients are well aware of that is a deep passion of mine. So that's it from us today, everybody. Again, our second podcast, first with Joel, the Melbourne Store Manager. There will be more of these coming. This is the kind of the Christmas special, but especially going into the new year, we'll definitely have many more of these podcasts coming out. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled, and obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel. So that's it from us at Liberty Bullion, everybody. And what a time to be alive.
See you next time. Thanks for having me.